Hey, Journey, welcome to this week's edition of Midweek Conversations here with Pastor Dustin Agard.
How we doing?
And three distinguished guests with us this week that we're very happy to have join us. This is Sarah Stevens, this is Chandra Mohn, and this is Sandy Sloan. I just realized Mohn and Sloan rhymed.
It's actually Mohn.
Oh, thank you. Never mind. So, Chandra Mohn.
The Jamaican accent. Yes.
Yeah, good deal.
See, this is exclusive on Midweek Conversations.
That's exactly right.
So, yeah, we got...
Learning how to pronounce names.
And special time to be able to get to meet some of the people behind the scenes, so we're excited to be able to have you meet them.
Yeah, last Wednesday, and full confession up front, I don't think we handled that very well. It was Administrative Assistance Day, and Sandy is an administrative assistant to myself and Dustin, and helps out Pastor Roddy as well. And the day came and went, and we didn't do much. So anyhow, we're here to talk a little bit about administrative assistants. So Sandy, we'll just start with you. How long have you been here at Journey?
I started working here in January of 2010.
January of 2010. And I came in March, so you and I have been here almost the same period of time. Tell me a little bit about what you used to do.
Yeah, this is...
Because this is interesting, Sandy's former work.
Yes.
I went to school to be a surgical tech and worked for a heart surgeon for 30 years and assisted him in surgery.
Like in open heart surgery?
Yes, I was his assistant.
And ballpark, how many open heart surgeries you've been a part of?
Oh, probably 300 a year.
So when I first came, I found that out about Sandy, and someone said, listen, if you got a heart problem, you go down, Sandy can work on you with a ballpoint pen. She can fix you. So I learned that early on.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. If somebody ever asks you, can you help us move, you might say no. But if you ever need help with a surgery, I'm your person. That is interesting.
Yes. One time I had a dream. And I told John the next day, I said, I in my dream last night, I saved you. He was like, did I have a heart attack? I said, no, there was someone that came in the church. I was in the booth. So,
well done.
Either way.
And Sandy has saved me from a lot of different things as we interact with folks. So that's good. Yes. Sandy, you've been working as my assistant for the last 4 years?
No, 6.
6 years.
2015, January of 2015.
Is that right? January 2015.
Yeah. I had to look it up because it seems like forever.
Yeah. I was going to say, Sandy,
not sure what
it's 6 years, and I thought it was just 4.
I'm not sure what she was saying.
Well, she's saying do a little better on Administrative Assistance Day. You know, step up the game here a little bit.
She is.
No, you thank me daily.
Oh, well, and we certainly appreciate it. A little bit other, Sandy, some of the things that you do here at Journey, people may not know. I mean, first of all, you work at Lake County. You're a volunteer at Lake County.
Yes, I work in the booth in Lake County and do all the screens. And I do the giving every week. Help out wherever needed.
You're a good team player, Sandy. You do.
Thank you.
If you don't know Sandy, sweetheart, sweet personality. Grateful you're on the team. You do a great job.
Thank you.
So it's real good.
Chandra, I guess you came, about 3 years ago? How long ago?
2.5.
2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So Chandra works with our adult discipleship team, which is Pastor Randy and Pastor Harvey.
Correct.
Was part of that team in a lot of ways, and then he's moved more into online right now. Mm-hmm. But you've kind of also followed that path as well with online. But let's talk a little bit about, so starting with Rooted. Someone signs up for Rooted. What do you help do with that?
Well, any communication that needs to go back and forth between us, if they have questions, I get everything set up for once Randy and Harvey figure out who's going to be in what group. I get everything set up for the day of, which is kickoff. I set up all the tables, the banners, get the balloons, everything ready. I do the check-in when everyone comes in so that they know who their group leader is. I get them the materials, and then just the 10 weeks during, I get everything ready on the Thursdays and preparation for the celebration night.
Yeah.
So
And that's just the just one element that happens, but for groups as well, you help support life groups and just a lot of communication things. But that's a great example of what an administrative assistant does to help out pastors. A lot of work behind the scenes,
a lot of detail,
lot of detail that a lot of people would not see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Now you've been more visible online.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that journey over the last few months, Chandra.
That was actually kind of crazy. When Harvey became the online pastor, he wanted me to begin recording the pre-service announcements. And I didn't want to do it because I'm used to being behind the scenes. Mark's been trying to get me to do it for a long time, but I always told him no. But I couldn't really tell Pastor Harvey no. So first time I did it, I was definitely scared, but I knew it was where God was leading me. He was wanting me to be more visible and not so much in the background anymore. So I was obedient and I did it, and it was scary, but now it's just, I enjoy doing it. It's fun, and I never thought it would be something I would be doing, though.
And you're part of, particularly on Facebook, on the Facebook platform, chat host.
Yes.
For 9:30 and 11:15. Do you do
And
5 p.m.?
Yeah.
And do 5. So if you watch our live stream on Sundays at 9:30, 11:15, or at 5 p.m., Chandra is through Facebook is the chat host, and it's kind of interesting because there's YouTube, there's Facebook. There's the app, and I think the church website. And all of those different environments have different chat hosts.
Correct, yeah. And yesterday, for example, my chat host was out of town, so I was also doing the website too. So
very cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how it works in a very cool way. I was in Kentucky weekend before last, and my oldest brother, Rodney, and his wife, Sabrina, they are part of our Journey online community, which is that's a great story in and of itself.
Yeah, it's cool.
And Rodney asked me, he said, "Hey, did you see this guy's prayer request?" And I said, "No." And so we find it on Facebook, and it was a guy who said, "Hey, there's a group of us that's been attending Journey for the past 4 or 5 weeks. Some guy in our group had a very serious illness, and we need prayer for their family." Well, that guy was 42, had a brain aneurysm, ended up passing. And Chandra, I saw the request, and there was a reply, and I clicked on the reply, and it was a prayer that you prayed right there in the chat. And I just thought that was so good, Chandra. Yeah. That was such a great touch. Yeah. And it meant so much to the family. But that's part of what a chat host does is the interaction, but offering prayers with people. I think that's great. Well,
and we also have a live chat option on the website. So that's also something I've been hopping in and doing for people who need it. So
and to close the loop on that funeral of that gentleman was this past Friday here at our Apopka campus, and a lot of people came to that funeral, but they were supported and loved by people like Chandra, by people like Stacy, by people like Karen from our staff, and Pastor Jeremy said he was there for that. So that's great.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah Stevens. Sarah, when did you join us here at Journey?
June 2019.
June 2019. Yeah. So maybe the newest of this. So Sarah works with us in Next Gen and family ministries and supporting that. And that's a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
Didn't mean to bring that up. It is. That's a pretty.
Now this is not Dr. Phil. We can't counsel you through some of this, okay?
But that's one of our larger teams, the Next Gen and Worship and Tech. Those are two large teams.
Staff, volunteers, a lot.
Yes, and also we got the interns and the residents that are in the same building, so they come to me for support as well.
Yeah. So give us an idea, Sarah. What are some of the things you do to support Next Gen?
Well, any like Baby D happened, so I get all the behind the scenes, get all the seats, get all the information from them, get all their gifts bagged ready, so when they walk in, it's a very smooth experience.
And it did go really well. I could see that. Yeah. So again, somebody's behind the scenes. When something looks easy, that's because there's people behind the scenes that make it.
Oh, when
easy.
They were out of order on stage because I went around the other side to grab someone, I'm like, I was devastated. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into details.
There's so much.
Christian, sends, hey, Sarah's here, you just take care of them. You don't really, no one really knows what goes on. You get a lot of emails coming
Part because I know that role, I know your role because I was in that office, is part of your role that's a little bit unique is there's so many. I mean, we have 3 residents. We're about to have 6 residents. We're about to have 6 interns.
Yes.
And on any time of the year, they're coming to you. And so part of your role too is to help lead at different levels. So you got anybody from a Vicki Johnson who's been here for a while to a 20-year-old intern that doesn't know how to operate their email. And everything in between is coming to you and you're helping flesh that out. So you have a unique kind of mentoring role to really serve as well, which has been neat.
Yeah. And then you add early childhood coordinator on top of that. I was
going to mention, you're not full-time administrative assistant. So you're part-time preschool, right?
Or early childhood coordinator and then child care coordinator.
Yeah.
So I oversee all of that.
So child care coordinator would be for folks that are coming to Rooted.
Yes, sir.
On the Thursday nights at Rooted. If they have children, that's part of what you help arrange.
Make sure, that they have child care. Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably next gen, without doubt, more volunteers, more to manage in that area. Not just staff and residents and interns, but the number of volunteers we have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, for early childhood, I have the highest number of volunteers in that area ministry. And I every weekend, I have students, middle school, coming up to me saying, "Hey, Miss Sarah, can I volunteer?" And I'm like, "Where do you want to go?" So yes,
here's
totally
a cool
blessed.
part. This past weekend, we had baby dedication, and I'm sitting next to my little Darby, who serves in our early childhood. And according to her, she just said, and this is pretty cool, I don't remember what service she was at. She said, I've held each one of those babies.
Aww.
And I know each one of their names, and I've prayed for them, and I've served them. Which says that's cool. These are connected families. That's not, you don't always get that for a baby.
That's true.
I thought that was really neat. But here, my daughter, because of your leadership, now felt connected to the ministry, to baby dedication. And that's part of what you get to lead. So that's
very
really neat.
super cool. Yes,
really neat.
I love it.
So here's a fun fact. Served with both of these ladies at a previous church.
Yeah.
Chandra and Sarah?
Yeah. Chandra was at previous church as well.
Is that right?
And so same church that our Journey Kids director, Tammy Joseph, was a part of, was called Fellowship Church, now Rethink Life Church. And so got to serve there. And you mentioned, serving volunteers. And that's where both of them started. And I just, Scripture tells us if you're faithful with a little, you'll get more. And they just were great volunteers. And that's how they've come into this scenario here. Sarah showed up my very first weekend, known her for a long time.
You mean your first weekend here at
Journey? First weekend here at Journey, she showed up and to support. And because I actually preached my first weekend. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
So she came and Sarah never left. Yeah. And that just shows Sarah's heart. And so she's been serving and then joined the team, and really, really cool.
Not only do I remember that you preached your first week here, we put the white flag out, man. We put the white flag out.
We did.
You need to go back and see what that's about. Yeah. Hey, I've been in ministry for 40 years now, local church pastor. So from the time I was late teens, I've done. So all I've ever known is somebody identifying me as working at a church. Mm-hmm. All 3 of you ladies came from different careers, different employment backgrounds, and then go to work in a church. Yep. And it's always interesting, isn't it, to move from what you have known in marketplace into ministry and how people perceive what you do, or asking you, what do you do? Yeah. What do you do at the church?
Yes.
And I would it's just interesting. Any of you want to talk about that can, but here's what I've learned about church life. It's not boring. No. I mean, there's stuff that happens every day. Yeah. And a lot of it unexpected, and like a death, like a hospitalization, like a crisis that somebody's in, and being able to respond to that. Yeah. And sometimes it's our own. It's our own personal crisis that we're in. And how's that been? How's that transition?
Well, I feel myself that a lot of those tools that I've had have come, that they're there and they were put there for a reason, that I'm here now, and I use all of those tools that I brought along. I was in my early 20s and I worked at a church.
Oh, okay.
Not worked. I volunteered. Faith Assembly of God. I was back in the day when we had boom boxes and we put a tape in. I would go in the nursery rooms and do the praise and worship with the little ones that I do now, but on a totally different level.
Yeah.
But going from there, I've had too many jobs to name. But my last job before here is I worked at a school, K through 12 school, and I was an ESOL specialist. So
Okay.
I was a behind the scenes person there too. Most places that I've been. Yeah, I've loved almost every job I can think of. I love driving. I used to drive and deliver stuff too. So I love being on the road. That's a fun job for me.
I love driving. That's an interesting statement. I
Yeah.
love driving.
I do.
I like it.
You get
Right
to listen
on.
to the tunes.
Right on. Well, awesome.
Well, I did a lot of management. So my first job was Champ Sports. Started as just the salesman, worked my way up very quickly, and worked at Blockbuster for a really long time. Worked at many of the locations all over here.
Nice.
My final one was the one on 434.
Really?
Yeah.
I just learned something from some stupid television show. Where three people say something and two of them are lying and one of them's telling the truth.
Yep.
And there's one person was the final Blockbuster man. There's only one Blockbuster.
Yeah, the last Blockbuster.
The last Blockbuster.
There's a documentary about it, yeah.
And it's still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And this person said, I manage the only Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's cool.
Was it a truth?
it was, yeah. There is one. It's out in Washington.
Yeah.
It's out, something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I would say this, Chandra. Also, you ride a bike.
Yeah.
You're a little bit of a cyclist.
Yes,
Right?
yes. Well, I got to compete with Pastor Harvey.
Well, listen,
We
nobody's
have a little rivalry going.
nobody's competing with Pastor. I mean, Harvey's.
I am beating him for the year.
Are you really?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good. I
know.
remember when Chandra first started working here, I'd come in and I'd see her and she's kind of, perspiring a little bit and red faced. And I thought, what'd you do? Run here? No, I rode my bike here. I said, seriously?
Yeah.
You rode and how many miles would that be to get here?
That was short. That was 7.5 on the way, 7.5 on the way back. Now I do.
So 7.5 miles.
yeah, that's
Short.
nothing.
That's short. Oh my.
I do 30 after work.
Do you really?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is wild.
I try to do 100, 120 a week.
Sandy, you doing?
No, let's not go with that.
Here's one thing I'll
You
say.
want to relax around your pool now, right?
That
Yes.
sounds
take some
good.
time.
That does
Yes,
sound
I
good.
love it.
Hey, good.
One of the things, we've talked about how you've started as volunteering, and everywhere I've gone, the church can't run without office volunteer support help. And I know that's just, there's so many roles. If you're somebody that's saying, hey, I'd love to help get connected, there are so many roles that you are able to play. And I know a ton in Next Gen. I know a ton for you. I know there may even be some on the executive level. There's just a lot of moving plates. And so if that's something that you're interested in to join the team, to get connected, I know they would love to be able to have a conversation. You could email us at the email listed right there. We'd love to be able to connect with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, in really any area, I know Next Gen would always like to have a volunteer conversation.
Absolutely.
So
Yes, yes.
anybody that would be interested in, hey, how can I serve in Next Gen? Connect with Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd love to have that conversation or point you to somebody that could. Somebody that says, hey, I'm interested in Rooted. I'm interested in life groups. I'm interested in just some of the support ministries we have.
Yeah.
And that'd be Chandra. You need to connect with Chandra, and she can help connect you to where you need to go with that.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing I know about these women that's very similar to a lot of administrative assistants in ministry is typically they're opposite of their pastor, of their supervisor. And
Where
what
you
I
going
mean
with this?
what I mean by that is I greatly respect y'all because one, you got to put up with us. And our gift and skill set is so different that the amount of patience and grace you give us is huge. So thank you for your grace and your patience and for all that you do. And you make the pastors and the staff look better than we are. And so we're grateful for y'all and all that you do. So yeah, that's where I was going. If that's okay,
I heard
Pastor
some
John.
time ago, or else I made this up myself. So if you like it, I said it, and if you don't like it, Dustin said it. That behind every successful man, there is a proud wife, a surprised mother-in-law, and an assistant that knows better.
That is good.
I like that.
You like that?
I like
I'm
that.
tagging
You
Pastor
said
John
that.
on that.
That's right.
Sounds
All
like
right.
you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you, ladies, for joining us
Yes.
on this week's edition of Midweek Conversations. They were all kind of nervous about doing this, so I hope this was not traumatic
No, it's
and not painful for you.
You did great.
You guys did
Thank
great,
you. Did so
and
good.
you represent your areas so well. You represent Journey well, and represent the Lord well, and
Yeah.
so we're grateful for all of you.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being a
Thank
part
you
of this.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, this week is Mother's Day,
Yeah.
and all three of these ladies are moms.
Yeah.
So I hope that your children do better for Mother's Day than the pastors did with Administrative Assistance Day. So let's first start with that. We do have a special gift for all moms at both our Apopka and Lake County campus, and we need to figure out how to do this with online, because I got a feeling you're going to have some online moms reach out to you and say, I want one of those.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully this weekend we'll get that solved. But we started a series last week called Defining Moments, and we're talking about those things in our life that are highly memorable, like having a baby, being a mom. So we're going to talk about some mom moments this week, and looking forward to that. So thanks for joining us on Midweek Conversations. We look forward to having you join us on site or online this weekend. And as always, we're loving the journey.